This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Good morning. It's 7 o'clock right now on this Wednesday. Hope you've had a good week so far.
Yeah, I keep saying I thought the week has just flown by, but I think it could be my new coffee machine that I got
during the prime days.
I think that's probably it. I'm realizing it now. I finished my iced latte this morning with an extra shot of espresso. Yeah.
So,
it's helping me. I'm telling you, if your weeks are going by slow, maker.
So I think it's just the fact that she's, caffeinated.
That's what we're missing.
We need caffeine. Yeah, the iced coffee today is definitely a good way to go because we are going to be talking about more of that heat building. Right now, the SkyTrack camera in Starlight, Indiana shows those upper level clouds overhead, the beautiful colors of that sunrise going on right now. So gorgeous starts the day with temperatures in the 60s and low 70s. Notice we're talking about more of those low 60s for those of you further to the east, just because you have a little less humidity than everyone else, and drier, less humid air tends to cool off faster than that more humid air. So just keep that in mind. We're seeing temperatures at 69 degrees for those of you in St. Matthew, same thing in the PRP, 66 in Shepherdsville, 67 in Sellersburg. With the sunshine today, we're going to climb back into the low 90s for your highs with that heat index near 100 degrees. So the heat is going to build. We have a heat advisory for those of you west of 65 for later on today. More of us get involved in that heat advisory, by the way, tomorrow. We also have an air quality alert in effect for today because of elevated levels of ground ozone 1, 2, and the fact that we have a little bit more of that wildfire smoke overhead. So if you have any sort of breathing ailment, limiting your time outside, especially this afternoon and evening, would probably be the best idea. I'll talk about some rain trying to come our way for later on this week in just a bit.
All right. Thank you, Tawana. Louisville's mayor announcing new changes to Metro Corrections policy impacting immigration.
He says the city has been on the radar of federal immigration leaders in Washington. Now Kentucky's only sanctuary city will be a thing of the past. The mayor says Louisville will reinstate a policy detaining immigrant inmates for 48 hours. That would allow Homeland Security to take custody of an inmate if they violated immigration laws. Mayor's announcement comes after White House border czar Tom Homan said he promised to flood sanctuary cities with federal agents. The mayor says staying on the list could impact safety in the city for immigrants as a whole. An organization that worked with immigrant families in Louisville says the mayor's decision leaves them vulnerable.
In addition, Louisville stands to lose hundreds of millions of dollars in federal grants if we remain classified as a sanctuary city. Many of those funds are used to provide food, rental assistance, and medical care for our most vulnerable residents.
We understand that the mayor has maybe no other option to avoid punitive, actions from the federal government. But from our perspective as immigrant communities, we are concerned. This jeopardizes our safety.
Louisville was the only city in Kentucky not currently following the 48-hour policy, which it stopped enforcing in 2017. Mayor Greenberg says this change to the system will happen as soon as possible.
An advocacy group is warning about the impacts of detaining ICE inmates in local jails. Kyle Ellison is a retired corrections employee who now works with Kentucky Citizens for Democracy. Ellison points out that jails like Oldham County are holding federal prisoners. He says he's concerned both about overcrowding issues and the possibility that detainees are being held for profit.
I am concerned that people are being transported from distances to here just for purposes of the per diem. I mean, I find this just as immoral, and it also is very enticing because the more they do this, the more money they will make.
Oldham County Detention Center recently went from being a 72-hour holding facility for federal inmates to now an indefinite holding place if needed.
JCPS is still looking to fill hundreds of teacher vacancies just weeks away from the start of the new school year.
But they're hoping a new partnership with U of L will help them avoid that problem in the future. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote joining us now to share more. Kirsten?
Yeah, Shannon, Olivia, JCPS recently launched a new teacher apprenticeship program. The district says that will help them grow their own teachers. 9 rising high school juniors who want to be teachers will be working in the district as instructional assistants. They'll be getting hands-on experience in classrooms, college credit, and their tuition will be covered. One of those juniors is Madeline Colville. She says she wanted to follow in the footsteps of her mom and other family members who were teachers. She talked about the moment she found out that she was accepted into the program.
Honestly, I couldn't believe it for about the first few seconds. I guess it was just shocking. And then I just felt successful in myself, and I couldn't wait to come home and tell my mom and dad.
Colville says she'll spend about 4 hours a week interning, and during her senior year, she'll begin to get paid. And once Colville and the other students in the program graduate college, they'll get to go back to JCPS, where they'll have a 3-year contract with the district. Shannon, Olivia, back to you guys.
Thank you. The new JCPS superintendent says the district has enough drivers to cover every bus route for the first day of school.
Transportation has been a top priority after that disastrous first day back in 2023 when some kids waited hours for buses that never came or dropped them off at the wrong spot altogether. Dr. Brian Yearwood says right now the district has 609 drivers ready to go, with several more to be added. They've been practicing their routes for a while now. Parents will be able to see their children's bus numbers and pick-up and drop-off times beginning Monday, July 28th. That's the same day the district opens their 485 Ride transportation hotline. JCPS's first day of school is set for August 7th. And another update from JCPS, it'll be several months before administrators will be able to move into the new central office. Yum Brands is donating its Louisville campus on Gardner Lane to the district, but they say the process to move in and renovate will take about 9 months to finish. Until then, the JCPS central office will remain at the Van Hoos Education Center on Newburgh Road.
This Saturday, the Fraser Museum is celebrating their 21st anniversary with their annual Summer Beer Fest.
People have the option to try more than 200 specialty beers. Also, plenty of food and live music, plus the exhibits at the museum. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke joining us live to explain why organizers say Kentucky Pride will be around every corner. Good morning, Marissa.
Good morning. We were able to see some of those breweries that will be taking part in this year's Summer Beer Fest. I'm here with Simon with the Fraser Museum. Simon, what's your favorite part about this event?
Oh, I love seeing the faces of all the people that I've been marketing to ad nauseum for the months leading up to this, because I actually work as a ticket scanner. Oh. So at admissions on Saturday, this is going to be our big fundraiser, Fraser Summer Beer Fest. It's our 5th annual beer fest. This Saturday, July 26th, 5 to 8 p.m., you buy a $50 GA ticket. You get in, you get to try 40 different samples. So you go to Trellis Brewing. Boo, I'm going to try this sample. I'm going to go to 1020 Craft Brewery.
I hope you don't drink it like that.
Well, you have to savor it. This is the LVP branded tasting glass you get. But you get to try all these wonderful samples. And if you get a $90 VIP ticket, which we have fewer than 100 left right now, you get a VIP ticket, you get access inside the museum where you and I are standing right now next to Colonel Sanders. You get to have air conditioning,
I was just about to say, and bathrooms.
Indoor restrooms, right? You can't put a price on that. But you get to see all our wonderful exhibits: Kentucky Love and Marriage, Kentucky Counties, Kentucky History, Kentucky Pop Culture, all these things.
Right, but also if you don't buy the VIP tickets, you're still going to get to enjoy downtown Louisville and just all the different breweries that are going to be partaking in this event. And so, Simon, what do the people need to know? Need to go to the website?
Yeah, you go to FraserMuseum.org. Like I said, we're selling our tickets there. We've got, what is it, Wednesday right now? So we're, 3 days out? It's pretty exciting.
Yes.
It's a big fundraiser. We get permits to block Main Street between 8th and 9th. Big street festival. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Absolutely. And don't forget that Derby City Gaming is also going to be keeping the fun going with the after party, and I guess you could say the pre-party too. So just a lot to look forward to this weekend. Back to you, Shannon and Olivia.
Thank you so much. And yeah, you can't really put a price on indoor AC restrooms.
Pretty nice perk there.
Right. Okay, we know mosquitoes can be a real problem in our area, especially during the summer months.
We'll tell you what city leaders are doing to stop the spread of West Nile virus and mosquitoes coming up.
President Donald Trump is approving new FEMA aid for Indiana and Kentucky. Indiana will receive just over $15 million to help its recovery efforts. That includes damage repairs from the severe flooding and tornadoes this spring. Kentucky will receive $56 million. Governor Beshear says the president approved 2 declarations for the disasters in April and May. Both states' leaders say they will share more details about this federal funding in the next few days.
New on Sunrise, a Kentucky county is adding a new safe space to protect people from tornadoes and other severe weather. It'll be in Shelby County. Emergency officials say they're going to have a tornado safe room that'll be located at 7th Street and Bobby Waits Lane in Shelbyville. They say it's designed to fit at least 200 people if needed, as well as emergency management offices, a new 911 center, and emergency operations center. They're expected to break ground on that in August. But right now, we're really just dealing with that heat and humidity.
Yeah, but about 100 million people are affected around the country with this intense heat.
Yeah, high pressure is going to be the big thing that's going to dominate most of the eastern seaboard, and that is why, of course, so many people will be affected by this dangerous heat as we head through the rest of the week and into the weekend. So as of right now, that area of high pressure off towards our east, and we're seeing more of that southerly wind across our area, and the other side of it is a stationary front that's just going to keep hanging out off towards our west and southwest. Right now, we have some of these upper level clouds overhead, and that is it. We are seeing them showing up on our Kentucky Mesonet cameras. Some beautiful sunrises showing up on all of those cameras this morning. We're going to watch that sunshine helping to warm us up, and the other thing it's going to help to do is create a little bit more of that ground level ozone. On the days like today, we have plenty of sunshine, more of that heat. Ground level ozone starts to become a little bit more of a problem. On top of that, we have a little bit of that wildfire smoke still in the area, so both of those things will help to reduce air quality as we head into this afternoon, and that is why we have the air quality alert, not just for the Louisville metro, but all the way up through along 65 into Indiana, and that does stretch all the way towards the Indianapolis area and even the Cincinnati area, including air quality alerts for today. So we'll keep an eye on how the heat could affect our air quality for today, but we also have a heat advisory for those of you in Du Bois County, Perry County, in parts of Breckinridge County and Grayson County from 1 p.m. until 8 p.m. this evening. Your temperatures right now are in the 60s and the low 70s. We are going to climb back into the 90s, those low 90s for highs later on this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine across our area for your Wednesday, and we'll watch the heat index jumping to near 100 degrees. For those of you west of 65, you have a better chance to see, of course, that heat index near 105, which is why you're underneath the heat advisory for today. For tonight, dropping down into the 70s for your lows in most spots. Not as cool, of course, as what we're dealing with for this morning, but at least we're going to keep the clear skies. Looking ahead to the next 10 days, here's what we have going on. Tomorrow, more of that heat building, mid-90s for highs then. That heat index near 105. This is why more of us underneath the heat advisory for your Thursday. I would not be surprised if we got a few more added, not just for your Friday, but into the upcoming weekend, because this kind of level of heat plus the extended amount of time it's going to last can become quite dangerous. We also see some isolated downpours trying to pop for your Thursday afternoon and evening, so we'll watch for that. These can produce some very heavy rainfall. While our rain chances for Thursday and Friday are going to be isolated, we will watch those rain chances going up for the weekend. Still pretty scattered, though, across the region, because the front we were initially expecting to move into the region just looks to stall out and fall apart to our north, and I completely understand doing that. For those of you planning ahead to next week, we'll see more of that heat around. That is until next Thursday and Friday after a cold front tries to move through.
That'll feel nice. Thanks, Tawana. Some Louisville neighbors are fed up after multiple cars were damaged on a street that's seen frequent crashes.
Police say a driver in a pickup truck hit 2 vehicles on West Hill Street Sunday. That's near the intersection of McCloskey and West Hill, where an LMPD officer was T-boned in March. The president of the Algonquin Park Hill Neighborhood Association, Ron Hargrove, requested a 4-way stop be placed at that intersection more than a year ago. Despite a new traffic study, Public Works says it won't be adding the stop sign. Hargrove says the city should listen to the people who live there.
The neighbors are the study. They sit on the porches day by day, and they look and they see, all the traffic flows and what goes on up and down this neighborhood.
Metro Public Works did not answer our question as to how much adding new stop signs would cost.
Today, Louisville Metro health leaders will be taking action to stop mosquitoes from spreading West Nile virus. Insects positive for the virus have been found in 5 Louisville neighborhoods. Metro health leaders say the infected mosquitoes are flying around Old Louisville, Irish Hill, California, and Iroquois neighborhoods, along with the 40215 zip code near Churchill Downs. Symptoms are similar to the flu. That includes fever, headache, body aches, muscle weakness, fatigue, and rashes. The city will be doing what's called fogging work in these neighborhoods today and tomorrow. You can also take steps to avoid mosquito bites by using insect repellents that include DEET, wear long sleeves and pants, and avoid standing water from flower pots, gutters, buckets, and pool covers. Indiana also reporting their first human case of West Nile virus. It comes after activity was detected throughout the state earlier in the year, including in our area in Clark County. One person sick was reported in Vanderburgh County. That's in southwestern Indiana and home to Evansville. You can track more of the information on mosquitoes in Indiana on the state's official health website.
Still ahead, before you know it, it's going to be basketball season. Maybe you're thinking about going to some of the games this year?
We'll tell you details on why UK fans might be spending a bit more on tickets this season.
Good morning. Work has now started on a new project that will change several one-way Louisville streets into two-ways. Mayor Greenberg says the Reimagine 9th Street project will slow down traffic, cut down on the number of crashes, and make the area around 9th Street more business-friendly. Phase 1 of the project is the conversions of Muhammad Ali Boulevard and Chestnut Street. According to KSP data, those 2 streets alone have accounted for more than 800 crashes since 2020. The pastor of a historic church in the Russell neighborhood says his building's been hit multiple times, so he's really excited for work to begin.
They won't use Muhammad Ali as a drag strip anymore. It's going to force them to slow down, and that should save not only property, but also pedestrians.
The mayor says this phase of the project marks one of the most significant one-way to two-way street conversions in Louisville's history. Phase 2 will address 9th Street itself. Work on the project's expected to be finished by next summer.
We have a traffic alert for you right now. Part of the Watterson Expressway will be closed overnight tonight and Thursday night. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is demolishing the bridge that takes US 42 or Brownsboro Road over the Watterson. As part of that work, the Watterson East will close at the US 42 exit. Drivers will have to take the exit, cross over 42, then hop back onto the expressway. The Watterson should reopen at 5 o'clock Thursday and Friday morning. And a traffic alert right now. We're working to learn more more about a crash causing a major backup impacting both sides of I-65 this morning. This is a live look at the traffic map. You see a lot of red near the Brooks Hill Road exit. TriMark says this traffic is caused by a crash. We've reached out to police to learn more about how many vehicles are involved and if there were any injuries, but we will keep you updated if we learn more.
This Saturday, people in Floyd's Knobs can get some pizza and support a great cause. Domino's Pizza at 748 Highlander Point in the Knobs is hosting Super Saturday. It's a fundraising event to benefit the Special Olympics, Clark and Floyd. The fundraiser will go from 10 a.m. until midnight, and during that time, a portion of the day's sales will go directly to support local Special Olympic athletes and programs. And customers can also enjoy medium one-topping pizzas for $4 with no limit on quantity.
People living in the Park Hill neighborhood will have a fun opportunity today. That's because the Park Hill community is hosting a field day. You can stop by the Park Hill Community Center on South 13th Street from 11 this morning until 2 this afternoon. Games include cornhole, disc golf, football throwing, and so much more. You'll also have the chance to grab a plate from Mama Sherry's Cool Treats and connect with Metro leaders and community service representatives. Well, UK fans might not be very happy after an announcement yesterday from UK Athletics.
They'll have to pay a little bit more to see Kentucky men's basketball this upcoming season. UK Athletics says they've increased season ticket prices by an average of 3%, so most fans will pay an average of $4 to $7 more per ticket each game. Also, for the first time, all sections in Rupp Arena will require a donation to the K Fund. That is the fundraising branch of the athletics department. UK Athletics says the price increase is due to inflation and an evolving college sports model. Today is the first day of the 15th annual Flyover Film Festival. The popular event has screenings, parties, and filmmaker Q&As. It'll start today and it runs until Sunday. All films playing at Hyphen Film Center, Baxter Avenue Theaters, and the Speed Cinema. This year's lineup includes documentaries, additional shorts film programs, and multiple parties at local venues. There will be no films shown today. The kickoff party is tonight. That's happening at West 6th Brewer in Nulu at 6 p.m.
If you're looking for a job right now, look no further than the Kentucky Career Center today. They'll be hosting their latest job fair. It's at the center on Cedar Street from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Anyone coming to apply is asked to dress professionally and bring plenty of resumes. Several companies will be there, including Norton Healthcare, UPS, Omni Hotel, Metro Government, and more. Parking is free. And if you find yourself in downtown Louisville today, you'll have some extra options for lunch. Food trucks will take over a section of 4th Street once again. It'll be between Jefferson and Market Streets. You can enjoy local food and local music with that. Food Truck Wednesday will happen from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m.
And now I'm hungry again, even though I ate chicken at 5:50 this morning.
Hey, that's a normal breakfast, right? Protein-packed breakfast.
Protein-packed breakfast. It's good for you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kogan. Louisville's mayor says changes to Metro Corrections policy will get the city off the radar of federal immigration leaders in Washington. Mayor Greenberg says Louisville will reinstate a policy detaining immigrant inmates for 48 hours. That would allow Homeland Security to take custody of an inmate if they violated immigration laws. Right now, Louisville is the only city in Kentucky not currently following the 48-hour policy. The mayor says the new policy will take effect as soon as possible. Well, if you take 65, a heads up before you head out, Tawana.
Yeah, both directions in Bullitt County impacted by a crash. For those of you traveling in the Brooks area, this is where we have 65 north and southbound affected by the crash. Now, keep in mind, it's on the southbound flow that the crash actually happened, but the left lane of both directions blocked because of this crash. We're waiting to get a little bit more information from, of course, first responders to get a little bit more about what happened in this area. And based on what we are hearing so far, it's going to take quite a bit of time before this is cleared out. You can see this is the camera at 65 near the Snyder, and this is the backup for people heading through this area. So just keep that in mind. Overall, we are seeing plenty of blue skies, some upper level clouds across the area to start off the day. We have an air quality alert in place for parts of our region. We also have a heat advisory in place for part of our region for today as we watch plenty of sunshine in our forecast. That's going to take us from the 60s and 70s where we are right now all the way into the low 90s for this afternoon with that heat index near 100 degrees. So hot and humid. As we look ahead, we'll watch for some isolated downpours tomorrow as that heat ramps up and watching for a better chance for rainfall over the upcoming weekend.
Thanks for sticking with us here on Wave Sunrise Extra. Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Olivia Russell. We start with some medical news because new data is finding that more young adults are being diagnosed with cancer. According to the American Cancer Society, the group says 80,000 people between the ages of 20 and 39 are diagnosed with cancer in the country every year. About 9,000 die every year from the disease. 29-year-old Brittany Auclair was diagnosed with breast cancer when her son was just 8 months old. Thinking it was a clogged milk duct, Brittany underwent tests and scans and learned that she had triple-negative breast cancer.
Am I going to die? I'm breastfeeding my baby and now I have breast cancer. Are they going to take that away from me? Am I going to be able to have more children? At one point, if I heard one more time, "You're so young to have cancer," I thought I was going to scream.
She went through months of treatment, surgery, and chemo in 2013, and now she's been cancer-free for about 12 years. While more cancer cases are rising among young adults, doctors believe more research needs to be done as to why it's happening. To lower your overall chances of cancer, the American Cancer Society recommends not smoking, limiting alcohol, eating healthy, and staying physically active. But the numbers are just staggering and absolutely heartbreaking. There are more lung cancer deaths in the U.S. than breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer all combined. And that problem is that most cancers, lung cancer specifically, are actually caught in the late stages, typically in stage 3 or 4, because it's so difficult for a radiologist to detect. But AI is being studied at university hospitals in Ohio to see if it can help patients catch it much earlier than that. Jen Picciano reports from our sister station in Cleveland.
We needed a way to find a lung cancer early. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, and that's where AI comes in.
Lung cancer nodules in their early stages can be nearly impossible for radiologists to see. Usually, lung cancer goes undiagnosed until patients start feeling symptoms.
When they are having cough, chest pain, or blood coming out of the sputum, unfortunately, that stage is stage 3 or 4. And at that time, the survival rate is whatever you do is in single digits.
Radiologist Dr. Amit Gupta and his team at university hospitals are now conducting a study using AI to see if they can get to it sooner.
In my initial experience, it can find some of the nodules which are super hidden. And on a busy day, even a trained cardiothoracic radiologist may overlook them.
Cure AI acts as another set of eyes in the room for radiologists. Dr. Samir Shah, the chief medical officer, says its AI algorithm was trained on large amounts of data gathered over 9 years studying tuberculosis x-rays.
Those x-rays could be used not only to look at TB, but we started looking at lung nodules as well. And we looked at 5 million of those. That's more than I would ever read, and maybe tenfold more than I would ever read in my entire lifetime.
Through this vast amount of data, it learned what was and what wasn't a nodule. Dr. Shah says they're hopeful this application could result in a stage shift, catching lung cancer in stage 1 or 2 and boosting survival rates to 60 or 70%.
When it starts small and has not spread and it can be removed, you're talking about a curative situation, which makes patients happy, but that's what the goal is for every oncologist. That's what the goal is for every thoracic surgeon who's involved, every pulmonologist. That's what the aim is.
Cure AI tackled lung cancer first because of the difficulty of detection, but they say this technology is also incredibly positive for attacking other equally hard illnesses like breast cancer. Jen Picciano, 19 News.
Well, with the start of the school year just a few weeks away for JCPS, Norton Children's doctors are saying that now is a good time to get your children into a good bedtime routine. And one way you can start is by waking up your child about 15 to 20 minutes earlier each day in the 2 weeks leading up to the new year, and then reestablish that bedtime routine.
Things to add are things that maybe take about 20 minutes, after you brush your teeth and get pajamas on, reading a book, telling a story, listening to some music, maybe prayers for some families, something that you can duplicate every night and that can kind of help start to unwind and kind of link those activities with going to sleep.
She says consistency is important, even keeping the same schedule on weekends. So if your child still isn't getting enough rest with a routine, you should talk to your child's pediatrician. I'm sure those kids are not excited about waking up early for school, though. But the school year's starting in just a couple of weeks, and you have the chance to help some local kids get off on the right start for the school year with the right school supplies. Wave News, the Neighborhood Place, and Furniture Fair have teamed up to collect donations of new school supplies for our local students. You can drop them off at either Furniture Fair location now through July 30th. You have about a week left for that, and those donations will go to local kids, giving them a great start to the new school year. Well, the new JCPS superintendent says the district has enough bus drivers to cover every bus route for the first day of school. Transportation has been a top priority after that disastrous first day back in 2023, in which some kids waited hours for buses that never came or maybe dropped them off the wrong spot altogether. And Dr. Brian Yearwood says right now the district has 609 drivers ready to go, with several more to be added. They've been practicing their routes for a little while now. Parents will be able to see their children's bus numbers and their pickup and drop-off times beginning on Monday, July 28th. That's the same day the district opens the 485 Ride Transportation Hotline. And a reminder here, JCPS's first day of school is set for August 7th. Another update from JCPS, though, it'll be several months before administrators will be able to move into the new central office. Yum Brands is donating its Louisville campus on Gardner Lane to the district, but they say the process to move in and renovate will take about 9 months from start to finish. Until then, the JCPS central office will remain at the Van Hoos Education Center on Newburgh Road. With summer break winding down for so many people in our area, Holiday World is making its debut with a new event before school starts. Holiday World set to debut the Summer Wind Down event on August 4th. It's a culinary event that will be featured at the park. It'll allow you and your family to explore new menu items like honey sesame shrimp, brisket biscuits, and star-spangled beignets. Each specialty item will have a suggested wine pairing with it too. So the Summer Wind Down will kick off on August 4th and run through September 13th. That sounds delicious and a great way to blend food and wine. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. Well, it's a story we've been following closely all week. Former LMPD detective Brett Hankison sentenced to almost 3 years in prison for his role in the raid that killed Breonna Taylor in 2020. Hankison did not shoot Taylor, but he was found guilty of violating her civil rights after shooting blindly into her apartment. Wave News reporter David Mattingly looks into questions about what happens next and if Hankison will actually spend time behind bars.
A federal judge sentenced Brett Hankison to 33 months in prison. But exiting the courtroom on Monday, people seeking justice for Breonna Taylor could not hide their concern.
Prosecutors seem to argue more for the defendant, Brett Hankison, than they argued for the victims.
After the Biden Justice Department won a guilty verdict, the Trump Justice Department reversed course and argued unsuccessfully to keep Brett Hankison out of prison. Have you ever seen a case like this before?
Well, this has a lot of unique qualities.
U of L law professor Sam Markison calls the abrupt change possibly unprecedented after a jury verdict. Moving forward, the Trump DOJ has the options of appealing Hankison's guilty verdict or again challenging his sentence.
A challenge to a sentence on appeal is very much of a long shot. Those almost never succeed because the trial judge has vast discretion.
But Marcuson says another possible path for Hankinson is a presidential pardon.
Since this is a federal prosecution rather than a state one, the president's power of the pardon does come into play.
He is going to prison, and we have to keep watching as to when he is going to go to prison.
A pardon is a possibility not lost on people seeking justice for Breonna Taylor. Marcuson says they have reason to worry, given the Trump Justice Department's current objections to even the charges against Hankinson.
And the idea really was not just that we think this sentence is appropriate, but calling into question whether Hankinson should ever have been prosecuted in the first place.
Hankinson was allowed to leave the courtroom on Monday. He is out on bond pending appeal. David Mattingly, Wave News.
For 6 years now, a Louisville family has been looking for answers about what happened in a brutal double murder-suicide case. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote talked to the victim's sister about what this anniversary means to them.
I've been awake since 3 o'clock yesterday morning, dreading today. Happy about today because I get to tell her story, but dreading it also because it's yet another year without her.
Courtney Litzy remembers her younger sister, Brittany Wilson, a mother of 4.
And that was her candle from her funeral. And I light it, it's still lit. It'll burn all day long.
Do you light it every single day?
Every July 22nd.
The last time Litzy saw Wilson was in May of 2019.
That last time we saw her, she kept telling us we had to go, we had to hurry and go, and she kept looking over her shoulders. I wish I would have just picked her up and thrown her in my car.
2 months later, on July 22nd, parts of her sister's body were found dismembered in a freezer in LaRue County.
The coroner said she had been dead at least a month, at least. And this was just the day she was found, so this is her death date.
According to police, Wilson was killed at a home in Louisville by Michael Murray, who also killed his ex-wife, Nicole Murray. Wilson's body was later discovered in LaRue County. Murray also killed himself. Litzy says she's never been able to fully put her sister to rest, as some of her remains are still missing.
I call and ask whenever I hear on the news that they found human remains. You're instantly glued to the TV. That's what I go through. But your heart skips a beat until I know if they found a skull, then I know it's not my sister.
Every day, Litzy holds out hope that answers will come soon.
I hope by fall that we've got another search scheduled. We still haven't searched the property across the street that we have been given permission to search. I just feel like there's a piece of something over there. There's something. I can feel it in my gut. And I want that done.
To honor what would be her sister's 40th birthday next month, Litzy is keeping her legacy alive by hosting a fundraiser called Speak Up and Speak Out Against Domestic Violence.
We'll have a list of resources, and I'm just so excited about it. Because if we can even just help one person get out of the situation they're in, then my sister is going to have the best birthday in the world. I may not have been able to help her get out of hers, but she's going to help somebody get out of theirs.
Reporting in Louisville, Kirsten Foote, Wave News.
And to honor her sister, Litzy is collecting donations leading up to the event that will go to the Center for Women and Families. You can learn more about how to donate over on our website, wave3.com. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Wave Sunrise Extra. Reimagine 9th Street. It's a $25 million project that aims to address decades-old racial and socioeconomic issues referred to as the 9th Street Divide. The project is also supposed to address safety concerns caused by reckless drivers. Wave News anchor Brian Schlonsky talked with leaders about the dangers the road currently has and the positive change the project could bring.
I love it here.
Beautiful stained glass, ornate pews, and 147 years of history. For Reverend Gerald Joyner and parishioners at Zion Baptist Church, what's not to love?
These steps right here are in our archives, the steps where Dr. Martin Luther King and his brother A.D. Williams King actually launched the civil rights movement.
Turns out what's not to love has nothing to do with the church itself.
They hit right there in the middle.
And everything to do with the speeding traffic just outside it.
They're using Muhammad Ali as a drag strip and racing to beat these lights.
Pictures show wreck after wreck. Joyner says they've replaced the steps 3 times, a fence 3 times, says it's a miracle no one from his church has been killed.
A car was actually flipped up on its side, up on the steps, and damaged all the way to our doors.
It's why Phase 1 of the $25 million Reimagine 9th Street project is starting here, converting one-way streets, Muhammad Ali and Chestnut, into two-way streets. Data from Kentucky State Police shows that from 2020 to 2024, more than 800 crashes happened on Muhammad Ali and Chestnut alone, killing 1 person and leaving more than 20 seriously injured.
Two-way streets are a proven safety countermeasure.
Phase 2 addresses 9th Street itself. The work will slow traffic, reduce crashes, and make businesses easier to find. It also hopes to improve what's been known for decades as the 9th Street Divide, a historical and racial split that separates the city's east and west sides, with 9th Street serving as the literal and figurative boundary. Areas west of 9th Street are predominantly black and over the years have seen businesses flee, while the east side remains more affluent.
The effect was that these places that were thriving neighborhoods became a pass-through and not a place where you're living.
Work begins now, potentially fixing a cultural concern and a safety situation. A plan like this, for Pastor Joyner, what's not to love?
It's going to force them to slow down, and that should save not only property, but also pedestrians.
So that work already started, but it's not expected to be finished until summer of 2026, so you'll have to wait about a year for that. Switching gears to hoops, talking about the TBT because La Familia was the last local team in it for us, and they would have had home games for the rest of the tournament as long as they kept on winning, but bad news here. Let's start out with some of the action, though. Mark Pope was in the house to watch the UK alumni team host Eberline Drive inside Memorial Coliseum. La Familia trailed most of the night, but was able to make it a 1-point lead late in the game, but a missed free throws from Archie Goodwin gave Eberline Drive the chance. And the team of former Cats was beat on a game-winning 3-pointer. So La Familia falls by a score of 71-70.
And we did exactly what we needed to do to put ourselves in a position to have a lead once the Elam ending started. Now we got to stay with it. And I thought we did for the most part, but we didn't get enough stops like we normally do.
Archie Goodwin took to X after the game saying, quote, "No excuses, that's on me, I'll get better." He says he's already excited about being back on the court next year. But hey, let's talk about UK basketball and the current players. It's now time for that to take center stage. Head coach Mark Pope pushing for his team to play even more games. He says he'd like to play 40 games a season. Right now they're scheduled to play 32. Pope said he'd like the ability to play games in the summer.
And let's go find other teams that have a similar 8-week schedule, and let's go play a couple games because it helps your guys learn, it helps your team grow, and ultimately that should be the goal of this whole thing.
As of now, the Cats are opening play against in-state rival U of L on November 11th. A lot of people looking forward to that game. But before we get to basketball season, we've got to get through football season first, and that is just around the corner, too. Not only was IU football the surprise of the Big Ten last season, but they took a nationwide storm, crashing the college football playoffs at the end of the year. Such an exciting season for them. The Hoosiers won a total of 11 games, losing just once in conference play before in-state rivals Notre Dame knocked them out of postseason play. The big season has led to
Obviously, it opened a lot of doors in the recruiting process because the first year we were selling promises, things we had accomplished in the past. Now we put it on the field. So we had better looking athletes walking through the doors.
The Hoosiers will look to continue where they left off starting the season with Old Dominion on August 30th. Now to the NFL. It's been a drama-filled offseason continuing for Cincinnati. The Bengals open up camp today, but they'll be without NFL sack leader Trey Hendrickson. He did not report to camp as he seeks a contract extension, asking for more than $40 million base salary a year. Hendrickson even went as far as to post a picture on his Instagram showing that he wasn't even in the state of Ohio. He's instead in Florida.
We'll try to make sense of it from our perspective, and we'll see. I'm not persuaded that it isn't going to get done. As far as I'm concerned, the sooner the better.
So if he continues to not report, he'll be fined $50,000 each day, which I'm sure he'll be able to pay for with this new contract. Interesting to see how that contract will work out, though. But thanks so much for joining us here on Wave Sunrise Extra. That's all we have, the time we have for today. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning starting at 7 o'clock. Hope you have a great Wednesday.